Brought to you by
Gokham Russia Zam 40 रनले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Gokham Russia Zam
Hello, namaste and welcome. You're watching Himalayan Television and this be a brand new episode of Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. As it's Thursday, I am your host Nigida Acharya and I always come along with a prominent guest every single week Thursday ko dinma ani aaj pani malai sath dinako lagi we have very special guests. They're just not from our country but then abroad pani hununcha. Uhanलाई स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु. आज मेरो guest list ma hununcha. Let me welcome. The first name is Mr. Rabi Thapa, who is the proprietor of Sacred Summits Private Limited. त्यसैगरी 40 को president पनि हुनुहुन्छ भने poker run को organizer or let's say initiator पनि हुनुहुन्छ. Likewise, I also have Stevie Maquin, who is from Australia. उहाँले चाहिँ poker run लाई नेपालमा ल्याउनको लागि एउटा ठुलो role play गर्नु भएको थियो and is like here right here for the 10th poker run as well. And I also have Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Sohan Roy, who's a retired colonel and lieutenant, and then he's here to participate in the poker run. Let me welcome all of them in our show called Coca-Cola Evening Show at 6. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Alright, so let's talk about poker run itself first. May सबभन्दा सुरुमा त आउँदै गरेको नयाँ वर्षको तपाईहरु सबैजनालाई शुभकामना. Happy New Year's in advance.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so how did it start in Nepal? So I'm going to ask you that. And how did it start in Australia? You're going to answer that. So let's start with that.
It's a friend. It's a story about friendship, you know. And in हाम्रो 2007 तिर चाहिँ हाम्रो एकजना साथी हुनुहुन्थ्यो के उहाँ चाहिँ नेपालको एकदम हार्डकोर राइडर हैन उसको नाम चाहिँ विनोद आचार्य छेत्री भन्ने थियो. अन्त उहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो साथी स्टिभीहरु चाहिँ हामी सबै साथी थियो. अन्त स्टिभीले चाहिँ अस्ट्रेलिया आउन त भनेर अस्ट्रेलिया गयो के. अस्ट्रेलिया जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ उले चाहिँ हार्ली डेभिडसनमा चाहिँ मोटरसाइकलमा चाहिँ पोकर रन गरिरहेको देखिन्छ के. अन्त उले फर्केर आउँदा त्यहाँ चाहिँ अब 200 जना जस्तो मोटरसाइकलमा कुदिरहेको हैन. अन्त उले चाहिँ रवि दाइ लेट्स डु पोकर रन इन नेपाल भन्थ्यो के मलाई. अन्त मैले त हाम्रो त बाइक पनि थिएन, मान्छे पनि छुट्टी हैन, क्लब्सहरु त्यति थिएन नि त, गाह्रो थियो. मैले हुँदैन अब गाह्रो हुन्छ भनेर त्यति बेला चाहिँ मैले गरिन. Unfortunately in 2008 okay, so he had a heart attack and he died. So then when Stevie came in 2009 spring and we were chatting and then I asked him like, hey Stevie, what about the poker run? He said, oh, it's not that difficult. So we gather some friends, we try to sell it to our people, gather a few drinks or coupons, gift vouchers to be given in a lucky draw. And then we go to a place and poker run. In the poker there are 5 cards. So we have 5 pit stops. So everyone picks a card and whoever has the highest poker hand at the end of the journey wins the prize. So that sounded pretty cool. So I went to do how to do. So I said, okay, let's give it a shot. So we decided to do the first poker run and then we said, okay, last resort jump. Nepali New Year celebrate 2009 and then I said, okay, we do the last resort. Poker run साथीहरु जति जम्मा गर्न सक्छ गरौँ हैन. So we'll give it a shot भनेर. So that's in our name. हाम्रो साथी विनोदको नाममा चाहिँ एउटा इभेन्ट गरौँ न त हामीले भनेर. So bring all the bikers together भनेर. So that's how we started the first one. And we had 22 people on the first.
So this is the 10th.
This is the 10 years, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Stevie, can you tell me about the poker run in Australia and how did you find the poker run in Nepal compared to Australia?
Well, poker runs in Australia have been running for many years, and so when I came out here after Binod had visited and we talked about it, and Rabi and I spoke about doing something in memory of Binod because he'd say that would be a good thing for Nepal, but it must just be an Australian type bike event because when I started to talk to people about it, they didn't understand. They thought you rode along and shuffled cards while you're going, you know. But now everyone knows what happens, and it's just a social event where everyone comes together and enjoys the brotherhood of bikes, in this case Enfields, and so that's how it started here, but it's the same in Australia. You know, there's many poker runs in Australia, and yeah, so I did that. And then, you know, Rabi mentioned Binod, who was our friend together. So what we did as part of the poker run promotion, in memory of Binod, we always include the logo in the logo with the
Four cards.
the 4 cards, which traditionally has been known as the dead man's hand when you play poker. So that's in recognition of Binod, and so each year we think about him when we go for a ride. Yeah.
Mr. Sohan, can you tell me your experience of poker run in Nepal?
Well, with my riding activities, I've been going to most of the major events in my country, and I must say this has been totally an eye-opener and a very different kind of an event, where riders come riding from across countries, and like today I met riders coming from Germany, somebody's come from France, somebody's come from Japan, and it's a big gathering, and you don't see this kind of a gathering anywhere. And the brotherhood which is we develop here, like the first time I met Stevie here, and Rabi had told me about how he's the brain behind it to start it here. So it becomes very interesting, and we've been in touch off and on the social media platform.
I have heard Stevie is very active in social media.
Yeah.
He's
Who
been
told you
commenting on Facebook.
Coming to Nepal is another thing. I've been in the army, I've been in the Kumar regiment, Gurkhas, Indian army has a large chunk of Gurkhas. We're very close, and people are nice, the country is nice, and 2012 was the first time I came for the 5th poker run.
How come you find about poker run? Who told you about it, or how come you know
I
about
got
this?
an invitation, an intimation from Rabi only, somebody sent it out. It's a very interesting game which carries on there. So the last time I came riding from Allahabad and went back riding back to Pune. My wife came by air and she took part in the poker and sitting pillion. So this time I've come by air. I made a shortcut.
Alright, so on that note, we are taking our very first musical commercial break, but then I promise we are going to be back with so much more to talk about poker run. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned to Himalayan Television. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Himalayan Television and this is Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. I am Nikita in conversation with Mr. Rabi Thapa, Stevie Maquin and Mr. Sohan Roy. So, उहाँहरुसँग कुराकानीको क्रमलाई नै अगाडि बढाउन चाहन्छु. How do you see Nepal in terms of riding, as a terrain or as a land, the geography, everything? Riding को लागि चाहिँ नेपालको जुन भूगोल छ त्यो कस्तो छ जस्तो लाग्छ तपाईलाई?
I think it's one of the foremost countries in the world to do an adventure sport like that. I mean, we have from the Tarai belt to the Himalayas. So I always tell, I do a lot of trekking also. So when you are in the mountains, our mountains are enormous. I mean, you see visually it's stunning. You see 180 degrees of mountains when you're anywhere you visit. So it's visually stunning. The terrain is challenging, but we need like for everything else. We need bikes that can do off-road riding, and for the others we have the Enfield and other bikes to do the cruising style of road, where we do the normal Kathmandu Pokhara Chitwan circuit. So it's fantastic destination. Like we have from the Tarai belts to elephants or wild animals in the jungles to the mountains in a very short span of duration. One day you are in Chitwan with the jungles, and then next day you are in the mountains in Pokhara. So so we have that, and then I think there are a lot of people say different things, but I think Nepal will be #1 contender to be one of the most saleable motorcycle destination in the world. I think that's my point.
Stevie, what do you have to say about it? How do you find Nepal in terms of riding?
Well, it's probably I've been coming over since let me think, 1991, so a few years trekking, and then recently motorbike trips. So I always get a lot of people that I know in Australia ask me about the trips, and they see photos of the mountains and everything, and so that's why they want to come over and see it for themselves. And it's an adventure, and it's a little bit of a challenge. It's not impossible, but a little bit of a challenge. So you can go up into the mountains and have a good time and try yourself out a little bit. Yeah, and as Rabi said, they've got these new bikes now, the Himalayas, which we're trying for the first time, and I think they'll be good. They have a little bit more ground clearance and a larger front wheel, so they should be more suitable for the rough terrain. So this trip we're actually heading after the poker run with the group that I came out with from Australia. We're heading up to Lomanthang, so Upper Mustang, and have a look there. I've wanted to get into that area for a number of years, but it hasn't been possible as far as riding all the way. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah.
Mr. Sohan, can you tell me what do you feel about riding in Nepal in terms of geography, in terms of environment and everything?
In short, I'll say it's a rider's paradise. Apart from that, it's also a trekker's paradise. It's also a paradise for the climbers who want to go up on the mountains. And with this varied terrain which you have here, actually, you know, as riders, we don't like always tarmac roads. We like to go offbeat, and that everything is available here.
Okay, so let's talk about Poker Run. So Poker Run has been evolving. धेरै मान्छेहरूले अझै थाहा पाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ, धेरै मान्छेले जोइन पनि गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ हैन. So यो तपाईको जर्नी फर्स्ट पोकर रनबाट 10th सम्म कस्तो रह्यो? कस्तो खालको समस्याहरू आए, कसरी ओभरकम गर्नुभयो अलिकति भनिदिनुस्.
You say it's evolved, you know, over the years in a very good way, and we've been able to bring together a lot of people. Our network now expands beyond our borders, you know, internationally. So when we first started, first poker run, we were 22 people, you know, probably like 11-12 bikes we had. That was the first shot. We used to do one day, you know, one night trip. Then we went to Chitwan. We thought we would go from 1 year we will go to last resort, 1 year we go to Chitwan, 1 year we go to Pokhara and all. So from the second year we went to Chitwan. So everybody, like they said, we were 50, you know, the second run. And then after the party when we were coming back, and then the boys ganged up and with me in Kulekhani we were having lunch. And then they said, you know, one night is very difficult. So you go there, party for the new year. Next day we have to come home. Right? So let's make it 2 nights. You know? So then in 2011, it was the Visit Nepal year also. Yeah? So we partnered with Nepal Tourism Board. Visit Nepal secretary थियो हैन, उनीहरुसँग partner गरेर चाहिँ we sort of tried to say, okay, now let's promote Nepal as a motorcycling destination also. You know? So we did a little more marketing. त्यति बेलासम्म चाहिँ, now when we were starting there was hardly any clubs, you know? By the third poker run there was only like 7 or 8 clubs in Kathmandu, you know? So now all over Nepal we have 53 clubs, you know? Like small pockets here from east to west, from Surkhet to Dharan, you know, Birta Mor देखिको लिएर अब in Kathmandu we have like almost like 23 clubs in Kathmandu. So that's awesome. Bhaktapur, Patan, so like I said, it's evolved, and like each club knows each other, you know, very well. And I mean, that's what this year what we didn't push very hard for people. But we don't expect everybody to come every year, because they also have to do something else. You know? So this year our target was to target new people, you know, who are just bought their motorcycles, you know. So this year we have a lot of new people who are actually coming on the trip. And yeah, so you know, one people will come for 1 or 2 years, and they take a break, and then they suddenly say, oh, I haven't been for poker run for a long time, so let's do this year one. So it rotates, so that way I feel that you know, our highest was almost 400 people in 2015 in Pokhara, but we went at it was a chaotic year, because once we landed in Pokhara, they started the street festival that day, right? Okay, and we were not allowed to take our motorcycles into the streets, and to keep 400 people in the lakeside, there's no one hotel can do. So we had almost like 15 or 17 hotels. So we had to park our bikes at the end of the lake, walk all the way to the center of the area, Landmark Hotel. So because that was where we are distributing the keys, and everybody is supposed to go there. So they go there carrying all their luggage, and then again they are sent back to their hotel room. Again, that probably is another 5 minutes or 10 minutes away, you know, walking. Oh, that's also walking, eh? So we had to find people to carry people's luggage. And I remember there's a guy from Chandigarh, na, Jojo Khurana, he's from president of the Chandigarh Riders, you know, the road survivors. He's huge, or like 150 kilos, something like that. So in the party at 11 o'clock, he's not turned up, the president of Chandigarh. So I sent somebody to say, okay, please ask him to come. Almost midnight, we have to like greet each other. He refused to come. So I actually asked one of our boys to go and call me. So and I talked to him. He said, finally I managed to convince him to come to the event. And then he what he told me was, okay, Rabi, why don't you come in the morning to meet me? Next morning. So next morning I went up to meet him. He was on the 5th floor. Okay.
Oh,
his room was on the 5th floor.
That's sad.
And the hotel didn't have a lift. So once he went up, he didn't want to come down. I had to apologize profusely to him. So that is why now, because we cannot enter a lakeside on a motorcycle these days, so we have now upgraded our facilities to a 5-star hotel, where all the people will be accommodated in one hotel. So everybody gets the same arrangements, and there's no somebody didn't like this hotel or not like that, no. And so now everybody is together. So, but we've toned down the number of participants so that it is also easier for us to travel together to Pokhara. No? This event is actually, we ride from Kathmandu to Pokhara. No?
I know.
So that is the very fun part of it. And of course, it is also the most dangerous because you are taking 250 people on the road together on a bike. You know? So I think that's been the challenge. But I'm very happy to say that we have got like 100% record that we are there safe and sound, and we've lasted 10 years.
All right, Stevie, how was your experience last time you came, and what is your expectation this year from the Poker Run?
Well, from the history of the Poker Run, as you've heard, the first group was quite small, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think the last time I came, when I met, was it the 5th? 5th was the last time I was here. And there was maybe over 200, and it was very well organised. I mean, you know, Rabi talks about it, but it doesn't happen just like that. There's so much work has to go on to have 250 people get from here to Pokhara and accommodated and fed, and then there's all the organising of the amusements and bands and for New Year's Eve. So yeah, no, the last time I came it was very good, and I expect it'll be the same this time. Rabi does a good job.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sohan, what was your experience last time? What are your expectations this time from the Poker Run?
Well, last time it was really fun. I heard a little bit about the Poker Run, and when I witnessed it, right from the start point, where you first draw your first card at the start point, that is where the thrill starts and people start understanding. A lot of riders don't know about it, and they start understanding the game because against your name, somebody is drawn King of Spades. So against his name in the block, first card, it is K and a spade is made. So similarly with all those 5 draws, his names are, those cards are there, and everybody start chatting, and when they hear, suppose he has got closest to the poker, oh, you got this thing, oh, unknown people, you start talking to him.
Okay, so what are your expectations this year?
This year I think it's going to be much big. We've entered double digit, and next year I was telling him on the way, it is double 1, so it's should be much more bigger than the double digit.
And of course you want to win the poker hand.
No, that's okay. Witnessing the thing is more fun at this time.
Yes, the journey is more fun than winning the prize,
Yeah.
of course. So we are taking just a short and sweet commercial break right here at Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to see you guys on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If in case you've just tuned in, तपाईं हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ Himalayan Television अनि यो हो कार्यक्रमको Coca-Cola the evening show at 6 which comes to you every single day 6 बजेदेखि 7 बजेसम्म. So आज हामी एकदमै रमाइलो गफ गर्दैछौँ. If you like riding, if you like traveling, then this episode is especially for you because we are talking about the 10th Enfield Rendezvous and Poker Run which is happening tomorrow. So I think late त भइसक्यो होला, but still if you can contact Rabi can accommodate you somewhere. But then jokes apart, but every single year चाहिँ पोकर रन भइरहेको छ नि, यसपालि चाहिँ 10th पोकर रन हुन गइरहेको छ. So हाम्रो रोयल एनफिल्डको राइडर्स जो हुनुहुन्छ, they are traveling from Kathmandu to Pokhara, riding all the way, and त्यहाँ गएर they're gonna party and welcome New Year with so many people at a place and having fun. यसकै बारेमा कुराकानी गर्दैछौँ अनि मसँग कुराकानी गर्नको लागि रवि थापा, टिभी मैक्लिन, त्यसै गरी लेफ्टिनेन्ट कर्नल सोहन रोय हुनुहुन्छ. उहाँसँग कुराकानीको क्रमलाई नै अगाडि बढाउन चाहन्छु. वेलकम ब्याक टु द शो.
Thank you. धन्यवाद.
Okay, so let's talk about एउटा प्रश्न जुन मलाई एकदम धेरै सोधिन्छ के. I was talking about NRM पनि हैन, and then when I talk to my friends about poker run, all they ask is why only Enfield riders? Why can't we go? We have other bikes, we want to go to the run, but then they have this criteria, you got to have a Royal Enfield, and why is that?
Well, you know, there has to be some sort of a classification, you know, where there is a lot of brotherhood, where people love their bikes, you know. But thus the Enfield is the only bike we see that brings forth a lot of brotherhood. There's a lot of people are buying it at the moment. You know? It's fun to ride. It's a classic engine, 1954. It has that classic feel. You know? It's got antique. It makes you like you say, a royal guy riding a bike. You know? And in fact, in the old days, they had this real nice thump, you know, but so it has like 350 cc and then now 500. You know? So the weight category is there, the style is there, it has a classic feel to it, and also it has a lot of history. You know? So that is why we chose the Royal Enfield, and it was very limited. You know? So there was a time when I was doing this Enfield thing, and one of the dealers and promoters of Yamaha came and told me, like, Rabiji, why don't you do for us? You know, we could have 1,000 people. You know, I said we don't want 1,000. You know, we need to have a select group of people who really enjoy and promote it as a very classy event. I would say. So that was our feeling. So that's why we chose the Royal Enfield.
Stevie, what do you have to say about this? What if I have another bike and then I want to join you on this run? What can I do?
We'll let you borrow an Enfield. Then you can come.
So why we are limited to Royal Enfield only?
Well, that really is the thing, that the Enfield riders are passionate about their bikes, whereas a lot of the other brands you might see, they might have a Yamaha or they might have something else and they might change brands, but I think you'll find that people that have Enfields, they get an Enfield and they stick with that. And they like talking to other people on Enfields about their bike, so it really does bring people together in that brotherhood that we're talking about. Yeah. So that's why it is. I mean, in Australia, we have a few Enfields, not so many, but it's Harley Davidson, same thing. People are very passionate about their bikes and they like to ride and share time with people. Yeah, and the same here with the Enfields. Yeah.
All right. So what's your take on that? Why Enfield? Why did you choose Royal Enfield as your bike?
So this is a bike which has a bonding across the country and across the borders also, which is saying I am here, he is there. Other bikes, you don't have that kind of bonding amongst, they think, whichever their bikes are good, there is nothing. I respect all bikers. But when it comes to an event like this, you want to do something, there is a lot of thought process which has to go into it. And I think rightly they chose to make it the Royal Enfield and Poker Run. Though I don't think Royal Enfield in my country does anything of any help, but he has made it so that it's only for Royal Enfield.
Right, so Rabi Thapa, यो कुरालाई चाहिँ मैले लगेर अलिकति देशपातिर जोड्न खोजेँ हैन. So you said it's Royal Enfield Mate Banner, but then I have heard this year female riders, they are joining you on the poker run Vespa Liera. So is that true?
Yeah, I mean they sent me a request, you know, and initially I said no, yeah? And then I got to thinking, you know. So the people who are riding a Vespa with us this year wanted to ride from, they are from Dharan, you know, Eastern Nepal. So they are riding all the way from Dharan to Kathmandu
and
then go to Pokhara and then going to ride back. You know. That itself shows that they want to have that adventure spirit. You know. So that's what we want, you know, to share we want to share the road. And so I know Enfields are very heavy, like almost 200 kilos. So हाम्रो नेपाली stature को women हरूलाई अलिकति गाह्रो भयो क्या. So to get women riders interested in our event is getting very difficult. You know? There are lots of riders, but they don't want to ride long distances. You know? They commute or they go to friends and with that Enfield. So this year what I thought was, if they are showing so much enthusiasm of coming to ride from Dharan to Kathmandu, you know, and then ride back just to participate in the event, I just said let's go for it, you know. So when they come to the event, I think they can see the possibility of whether they can be riding an Enfield in the future or not, you know, because without knowing, they will see other women riders also. Some have come from India, you know, so Nepalese riders are पनि छ हाम्रो. So if they can see them riding an Enfield comfortably, I think they would get into a passion, say, okay, why don't I try this for once, and probably next time they'll be on an Enfield, you know. So that's why I thought, okay, let's give it a shot, you know.
Steve, what's your take on that? How are you feeling, female riders joining you on Vespa?
There's, I think, only a few. Two.
It's not like a lot, but I think it's a good thing that they can have a close-up look at what the Enfield brotherhood or sisterhood, if you like, is all about. I was speaking to someone just before we came on air, and he said some people go and buy an Enfield just to come on this poker run. So because of all the good feelings, and it's such a big event, and it's actually I'm pretty sure it's the longest running Enfield event in Nepal, and as Sohan said, you know, it's a lot bigger than events in India, so it's developed its own persona. People are attracted to it, and I think if these women come along on their Vespas, great, next year they'll be on Enfields.
Alright, so what do you have to say about it?
I think it's a good try. It's a small country and Garang is far flung from here. The girls are taking the initiative of
riding such a long way.
Riding their Vespas and coming all this way. And I'm sure few of them would after get motivated to get onto the Royal Enfield. And it's not very difficult. It is just that once they see the other lady riders riding or things, get into it. I think they'll get into it.
Okay, so with that, it's time I go for yet another musical commercial break, because as I always say, the evening show at 6 is totally incomplete without music videos, and music and awesome conversation is what we enjoy right here at this show. I'm taking a short and sweet commercial break. I'm going to see you soon on the other side. Stay tuned to Himalayan Television. Welcome back after the last commercial break. You are watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. अनि हामीसँग कार्यक्रममा समय कम रहेको छ. So let me head on with the conversation indeed. Steve, what I want to ask you is, what do you think how this event is going to help promote Nepal as a riding destination or a tourist destination?
Well, I think I write stories for motorbike magazines in Australia, so I've had a lot of inquiries from people over there that ride motorbikes, do adventure riding, and they hadn't considered coming to Nepal before, so that's a good thing. So they're starting to think about coming over to Nepal, and as we've heard, Nepal's a great country for scenery, and the people are so friendly. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's a great thing, and it can only build more and more as people, by word of mouth, spread the word about coming to Nepal and doing a different type of touring on motorbikes. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Sohan, what do you think about it? How can such events promote Nepal as a tourist destination or a riding destination?
See, as we riders, we come and go, but we come for the event. Other than that, we explore Nepal. We go to different places, ride and go back. And when we go back, when we talk about the places, the hospitality, the wonderful people here, landscapes, everything, even our families and others, friends do make a plan to come and visit Nepal.
Okay, so we are almost at the end of the show. So before we leave, Rabi, what do you want to say to all our audience who are watching you since almost 1 hour?
Okay, what I would like them to say is, I'm very sorry that you missed all the nine events, all the 9 years. So if you want to come and participate in the next event, you would please register online. Our website is called www.enfieldpokerrun.com, and we encourage people to book online and register online. Of course, book your seat early because we have very limited seats. And so please look out. It's a Nepali New Year event, so it'll be in the middle of April all the time, either 12th to 14th or 13th to 15th. So yeah, be there, and for the thumb that binds. Yeah.
All right, so guys, thank you so very much for your time. You've come here, talk to us about all your experiences and poker run history. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much.
Dhanyavad.
And a very happy Nepali New Year to you all.
Yes, so we all wish you a happy New Year in advance. And so all the best. And poker run bigger and better host. Thank you guys for watching. You are watching Himalayan Television, and with this we've come to the end of the show for today. But then I promise I'm going to be back some other day with some prominent guest indeed. So Himalayan Television here they go. Thank you so much for watching. Bye and Happy New Year in advance. Bye bye.
Brought to you by
Go come Russia Zam 40 सालले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Go come Russia Zam